Hello everybody, welcome to this channel. This is Vivek along with my team presenting this video. This is part 2 of the SQL tutorials for business intelligence professionals. In this tutorial, we will be discussing the various types of SQL statements and their purpose, and we will go through few practical examples as well. It is very important to understand the on the types of SQL statements and their purpose. So these are the list of SQL statements, which is mostly used by BI peoples. Apart from that, we have the list is we have a lot of other things. I did not include those things. So the main usage we do is a DDL statements, which is basically to define the any new DB objects like table, view, index, function, or database. So that's why the DDL statements are used. Then DML statements. The DML statements are used to manipulate the data, that which is predominantly used by all the BA professionals during the report creation or accessing the data sources. Then the data control language, which is used by the DB admins to grant access for your um, operations on the database object. For example, if you need any privileges with privilege, those are used to give by data control language. Then comes the transactional control language. This is used to control the transactional output. We will see each in detail. Data definition language. So under data definition language, we have the create, which is used to create new DB objects. It could be a table, view, index, function, or database. Then the alter command, which is used to alter the table or view. Mm, Truncate command, this is to delete your data from any tables. The drop command is to completely remove the table from the schema. We have the rename command to rename the uh, table or view or any DB objects. These five commands are used to create new or modify the existing DB objects. Now let's see few practical examples for this. For this demonstration purpose, I'm using PostgreSQL. So let's start with the create table command. Here, the create using this create, trying to create a table under the schema public. Schema is the owner name. So this table contains five columns: employee ID, name, department, date joined, and salary. So here employee ID is going to be, I'm defining employee ID as a primary key. So let's execute this statement. Already, I see. Okay, this table is already exists. Let's go and drop this table. Okay, now let's try rerunning this. Drop table removes the existing table. So let's. I'm going to create freshly the employee table. So our query returned successful. So when you go to this is a schema public where we created the employee table. If you go to tables and if you refresh, I see that employee table here with the columns employee ID, name, department, salary, and date joined. The constraints we don't first key is a constraint. That is the primary key. So this is how we create a new tables or views using this create command. So once you created a table, and there may be scenario where you want to alter the table or any DB object, we use alter command. So let's try changing this table to include one more column. So here I'm using the alter command to just include a column manager with varchar data type 20. So this command will include one more column into this table. So let's execute this statement. Our query returned successfully. Now let's refresh the table. Refresh. Now if you go to columns, I see a new column manager added to that column. So this is how we alter the any DB object. This could be a table or a view. This could be adding a column or removing a column, changing the data type, or changing the name. Many things we can do with this alter command. Okay. The next is the truncate. Truncate is to remove the data. To remove the data, let's say insert few data into this employee table. I'm trying to insert three rows into our employee table. Let's insert. Our query is successful. Let's try selecting this table to see whether data is present table. Yes, we have three rows in this table. Now, this coming back to our truncate statement, this truncate statement normally removes the data from the table. So I'm trying to remove the data from this table. So I query returned successfully. Let's go and try selecting this table. It should return zero rows. Yes, it doesn't have any data. So this is the method to remove the data. This truncate command we normally use when we want to remove complete data and reload every day. That is called full refresh, we call. In that case, we remove the a day's transactional data completely before we load the new transactional data. So in those scenarios, this truncate table command works. Okay. This next way is the drop table. This drop table is completely remove your table itself from the schema. So by any chance we no longer need any table, means we normally drop the tables to avoid space issues. This cascade command will normally remove the keys later in present in the other tables as well. So let's try dropping the table. Query return successful. Now if you go to tables and refresh, and I don't see any tables, the table is completely dropped. Now let's see the data definition language. So So in data definition language, we use select, insert, update, and delete. The select statement normally used to select the data from any given table to see that's this is a select query is normal, or we use most of the time to check the what data is present in each data source. Okay. So next is insert. Statement used to insert data into your tables. You may be selecting some data or collecting data from different places and will try to insert into some table. For this operations, insert is used. Again, update is used to update any existing data. By in the many scenarios there will be missing data or wrong data present, you may need to update existing. In that case, we use update statement. The last is a delete statement. Delete statement against delete the data. The difference between the truncate and data and delete data is delete data takes more time. Truncate data quickly removes the data. That's the truncate. That's why people go for truncate in if you want to delete large number of data. Delete state normally used to delete if the data volume is very less. Now let's see the few practical examples for DML statements. We already seen select and insert. Just I want to again create the table, same table. We'll add that column. We'll see the update. So here, if we select, I will try to insert some rows. Let's see, the select statement normally used to select the data. Now you see three rows are present in this table, and this update statement is to update the existing data. So what we do is here, let's try updating a single row. So here, I'm trying to update the row with employee ID B1002, which has already a department ID 160. So I'm going to update it to have a new department ID as 170. Let's try running this query. The query returned successfully. Let's try selecting this data. So here where we see the new value 170 updated for this row. So here, in this update statement we can give multiple set statements. Likewise we can use the multiple conditions in where class as well to update large number of data. The same thing applies for delete data, where we delete the data from a table using a where class. Like where we give some specific conditions. So whichever rows matching that conditions is get those rows will be deleted from the table. Let's move on to data control language. So the data control language is basically to control your access for any access, control the access for the data. So for example, every user is granted with multiple operations. For example, a user can select a data, he can insert a data, he can delete a data, he can update a data. These are the predominantly what the users mostly work on that. So not all the operations are granted for each user. So depend upon the role, these access will be restricted. Many times user are allowed to query the data, the existing data. They are not allowed to update the existing data. So there are only few users are allowed to update the existing data. In that case, we just grant them only the select access, and we don't provide them insert or update access. The revoke is the command where we remove the existing privileges from the user. The next comes on the transaction control language. So the transaction, for every transaction at the end of, there are many databases. They use this data control transaction control language, especially Oracle, where we issue commit explicit commit statement to save the data permanently. Until we issue the commit statement, this data is temporarily residing in the area, it doesn't go to the table for permanently. Same way, if you want to, if you see some issue with the data, in that case we just roll back the existing data. In that case, the data what are the changed or updated as part of the previous transactions will be rolled back. There may be scenario where we no need to roll back completely the entire transactional output. Instead, we may need to update partially. In that case, we use save point. So which say rollbacks only few portion of the data. These rollback commands we don't normally use, um, and only a dim people who are working in as a DB side exclusively they use this all these commands. Mostly DML statements are predominantly used by the BA professionals in day-to-day life. So with this, we are coming to the end of this video. Thanks for joining with me. If you have any questions, please let us know in the comment sections. We'll be happy to answer you. We will see you in the next video. Thank you.